up, y'all? Welcome back to The Bridge in Your Hometown. I'm your host, Spicy Chip. Well, fancy seeing you here. Y'all been waiting very nicely for a triumphant return, and who am I to deny the people what they want? Yes, the Big Fish Podcast has returned better than ever, and I couldn't be more happy to officially be back in the saddle with some interesting music / life-centered topics. And speaking of saddle, I thought the return would be interesting if I ventured into a realm I haven't really poked my head into, being the musician side. So after stumbling across Bandcamp and finding some crazy good new music, some emails were exchanged, and we have the man behind the machine with us here today. They have a new EP titled Hurt Someone out now. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for TJ, representing the band Knifeplay. What's up, TJ? How are you today?
Great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So, Knifeplay. Let's just jump right into it. This is a band, but you're here solo. Why is that? Where's the other members of the band?
Well, it is a band, but it kind of started out as just me doing everything, and over the years, it's kind of gradually become more collaborative. There's been a lot of people in and out, helping out, and even though everyone kind of contributes more or less equal share at this point, I feel like it still feels like it's kind of my project because I do write the songs and like I kind of lead the charge as far as the logistics of everything. And I asked everyone, if they wanted to come on, and they were like, well, I'd do it if you want me to, but I think it'd be fine with just you. So I guess, we're a band, but I think for something like this, I guess they kind of felt like, I don't know if they would have something they feel like they need to get out there, whatever.
Yeah. This is like a bit of a Tame Impala situation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're probably more of a band than that. It really depends, because, for example, one of the songs out of the two you just mentioned that we put out, I did everything on it. But then the other song, it was we all did our own thing. So it really just is it's not like a set process necessarily, but I'm kind of like the head of it in a way.
Okay. So who are the active members of the band? I guess active and past members.
So yeah, right now we have Alex Stackhouse on bass, John Shortino on drums, Max Black on keyboards, and Johnny Klein on guitar. We also had our friend Jack McBride, who played a lot on the record that we're finishing up now, and he played with us live for a while. In the past, we had his twin brother Pat. This guy Chris used to play with us. Bunch of friends of ours. It's hard to even keep track of everyone at this point, but yeah, I feel like the lineup we have now is pretty solid for the foreseeable future.
So how did all you guys meet and collectively come together and decide, yeah, let's make a band together?
Well, I guess Stackhouse, the bassist who I mentioned, I've known him the longest since 2012. And we were just buddies, and I knew he played music, obviously. We all live in Philly, so I kind of moved here for music in a way, for the scene, even though I didn't start a band of my own until I had been living here for some time. But I guess it was just we were all friends, and I would kind of show them the stuff I was working on, and they seemed like they were interested in being a part of it. And then in the case of the two of the guys with us now, we had already had music out and a little bit of a following by then. So it was when I needed some more band members, it was a little easier to get people involved because I had actually something substantial to send them. So yeah, I mean, it's really case by case, but I guess it was mostly just I was working on stuff a lot on my own and just slowly showing it to friends, and I guess really trying to gauge if it was actually worth trying to do a band out of, and
Yeah.
and so forth.
So my words can do so much describing you, but I think, since you're metaphorically and literally the man behind the machine, if you give a nice little description of your band and your music style, I think the audience would greatly appreciate that.
Okay. I mean, to what effect would you say you're
like essentially describe Knifeplay, like what kind of music you make, the origins of your music or influences and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So I guess if you're talking strictly like the genre or so forth, I usually just tell people that, excuse me, we're like a rock band, There's a lot of different influences, certainly. Like our town, we have Alex G in our town, so he kind of like is a pervasive influence into everything. And I feel like being around, like going to shows where he played when I was younger, and all the bands that kind of surrounded him, that definitely was like a huge influence on me. Just in terms of like, I feel like in the past, like with the whole rising of Bandcamp and stuff, like it opened a lot of people's eyes like me, who were kind of sheltered from, I guess, indie or experimental music growing up, to like see kind of the boundlessness of music, and like how there's really no limits on what you can do. So like, I guess where I'm going with this is like, when I'm asked about like the sound of the music, it kind of brings me back to that mentality, because I don't necessarily like connect with a certain genre or sound or anything. It's really just like whatever I may be into at like a given moment is gonna like come out in whatever I make in that same time. But we're definitely influenced by like shoegaze stuff too, and like just I really like Neil Young. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's hard for me to pin down even, but people find ways to pin us down, though.
You mentioned Bandcamp when you were talking about influences. I'm curious, just from your own personal viewpoint, how important do you think services like Bandcamp or stuff that allows people to put music out, for free and gives them a relatively big platform to show it off? How important do you feel that is to, music now as compared to, just like 10, maybe 20 years ago?
I mean, it's definitely huge, especially for a band like us, because I don't really know if I would have an idea of where to start with getting my stuff out there if it weren't for these platforms. And it's weird now with Spotify. It's kind of become like a numbers game in a way, but as you get exposure on these platforms, like you get, however small it may be for a band like us, like we get more and more interest, like from, I guess, more official channels and better shows and so forth. It's so I mean, it's important, and two, because like a person like me, growing up, I grew up in like a rural area, and there was no interest in the arts and so forth. So I guess having a place to explore like alternative culture and whatnot, it was pretty important for me, just to like develop what I would be interested in and do musically and stuff. So as much as I really don't like social media and like have a lot of problems with Spotify and even Bandcamp and the way that they handle like financial end of things. I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for any of those things. So I guess selfishly, it's very important.
I think it's very important, not even just for the artist perspective, which you are coming from, but also the fan perspective, which I believe you're coming from too. Because like you said, you can find people that you would have never found otherwise because of it. I literally found you through Bandcamp. Like, I think it was the New and Notable, actually, and I saw your new release, Hurt Someone an Ornament, and I was intrigued by the cover, and I found you. And, you know, that's just literally proof in the pudding, showing that people are interested in just weird, completely different stuff that mainstream would not necessarily be pushing out, but Bandcamp gives a nice platform to.
Yeah, and you know, I'm thankful for that, certainly, because you know, I'm thankful to be talking to you right now, and that you found it, and that's how everyone has found us. I mean, I feel like we have like an online following more so than we even do locally, like at our shows and whatnot. So
Okay. You do perform live, yes, that's correct?
Yeah.
So performing live, I haven't really had many people on that I can talk about live performances with, but how does the vibe and the feeling of performing your music live, how does that feel, having a crowd that's there to see you?
Well, lately it's been getting better and better. I was reminded of this after we came back from the pandemic, but for the first few shows I was just a ball of nerves the whole time. So it's kind of hard to, like, you know, just be in it and enjoy it. But actually the last show we played was the first time yet that I kind of felt myself like just being in the moment and enjoying it. And like, I'm not really an eccentric entertainer or anything like that, but like you mentioned the audience, it's like you kind of can feel the energy of the audience, and you can kind of like feed off that to a degree. And I mean, it's great. Like when you play a lot, it becomes great, and the band gets better, and you get more comfortable, and the audience can pick up on that comfort too, and they enjoy it more, and everyone enjoys it more. And so, you know, when it's good, I really enjoy it. But you know, if we haven't played for a while, or maybe we didn't practice that week or something, sometimes, you know, you walk
absolutely.
up and you're a ball of nerves. But I'm hoping that, you know, we'll get to touring at some point, and just it'll be like the back of our hand, you know.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Yeah, at that point it'd just be muscle memory, because you'd be having all these dates and times and stuff.
Yep, exactly. And like, we've done short tours, and you can feel it on the final few days. You're like, we're so tight right now, and you know, it's just, that's when you really lock in, and it just becomes fun. You're not going up there like worried about what you're about to do. So. Oh
yeah. I feel everyone that performs live has some form of just like a live performance horror story. Do you have any of those permeating your thoughts?
Yeah, there's one bad one.
Ooh.
It was down in Richmond, and it was probably one of the biggest audience we've ever played to this date. And we went out there, and I think it was when we first started too. Like, we were all nervous, and we were playing. I mean, I don't know how much of our music you've listened to, but a lot of it is kind of on the slower side, or on the mid-tempo side. So we were just playing them way too fast. And then one guitarist broke a string.
Ooh.
And another song, we all got lost. We had to stop. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, I think there was other factors involved as to why that happened, that I won't go into. But that was kind of like a one and done thing, though. I was like, that kind of made me realize, like, I gotta like take it a little bit seriously, we gotta,
like, this is not happening again type thing.
Because, and ironically, we went back there 1 year later, same exact venue, and there was like no one there, and I was like, wow, we really blew like our best show. But it's okay, because we've had great shows since, and like there will be more, hopefully. And it's just a learning experience,
Yeah, just one fuck up isn't really going to destroy your entire touring career.
I think like that show is always the one that comes to mind as like our worst. But like the cool thing about Philly is we've played so many house shows, and it's like a lot of times at a house show you might not play perfect. It's real loose and everything, but like you're getting an experience playing, and it's okay if you go and you're not like at your best, it's like you can kind of just go in there, have fun, you're with all your friends, and it's like, so that's kind of another aspect to it too. But like, yeah, I mean lately we've definitely all been like putting in work to be as good as we can, or at least like improve each time we play,
Yeah. So would you say your Philly performances, or do you have a specific Philly performance that sticks out in your mind as your best performance, since we talked about your worst?
I mean, our best was the other night, probably.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't like our highest attended show or ever or anything like that, but it's like we got this new lineup, and I think we're really starting to figure it out with this group. And we played I don't know, where are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania too, actually.
Okay. Are you familiar with Philomoka at all?
Oh, yeah.
That's where we played the other week, and the sound was awesome in there, and like I said, we were just feeling it. So like hopefully many more like that to come.
That's the spirit. That's what I like to hear. I mean, if your newest one is your best, I mean, it's just the sky's the limit going from here. When's your next performance, actually?
Our next, we're doing a weekend tour with my buddy's band from Baltimore called Dosser. That's going to be like the end of January. I think we're doing like Baltimore, New York, Philly.
All right. Well, if you're in the Baltimore, New York, Philly area, Knifeplay might be coming to a town near you. I might want to pick up a ticket, if you know what I mean. So, getting back to the actual like music section of things, the band aspect, even though you are mainly the head figure of this project, do you find that collaboration is a big aspect of making music, or the kind of music that you're making?
Oh, absolutely. Because so we first started, and the reason I think I did 2 EPs and then like a whole bunch of songs that a lot of them I ended up putting out on a B-side record last year. The reason I did all of that strictly on my own is because I had no confidence in what I was doing, and it was kind of like a secretive thing. And I knew I was like, I'm just going to figure this thing out. Not that I haven't figured out now, but like I definitely feel more comfortable with it now. Like I was like, I just got to figure this thing out, grind out some music, and see what happens. And now that I have like, I guess, more confidence in what I'm doing, I can bring all these people in and be comfortable with that. And I can't wait to share the record that we're finishing up now, because you can see that we've taken all these ideas and kind of pushed them to the limit, because now, even though on our first record there were a lot of people contributing, which was really like important, now it's like, instead of me playing all the keyboards on the record, I got my friend come in who I know he's way better at keyboards, like, and writing that type of stuff that I'm looking for than I am. So it's like, he's familiar with the music. I can tell him kind of my ideas, and we can work together, and he's going to use his knowledge and like his inspiration to make, and together it's going to be that much better. And it's like, you could say that for any of, that's just an example, but like I feel like all of my band members now kind of fill that role. It's like, I'm kind of like, I've recruited them because I know that they're going to make a better contribution in that area. Yeah, you know their
skill level, and they know they're going to make something banging.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I feel like this kind of comes back to the Bandcamp and internet age thing. It's like, I feel like we're kind of coming out of this period where we're obsessed with like the individual as like the individual genius artist. Like, oh, it's like it's your thing. Like, people would kind of romanticize that a lot, and I think like you could look to Alex G as like a figurehead of that, even though like, I mean, I don't know what the extent of truth is with his project either, but like, I feel like bands have kind of gone by the wayside, and I could see like the band coming back as something that people are interested in again, because ultimately not everyone is like a fucking genius, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, ultimately, like, you know, I'm really happy with the music I've made on my own, and I'll probably continue to make music on my own, but like, if you can bring people in and really work together and kind of like get in a good zone with a group of people, then you're gonna make something very special, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what I agree with everything you said 100%. I never put it together like that, but the I am a genius and I made this by myself type of musician is definitely something that's becoming way more prevalent. And you are totally right about how bands seem to be kind of disappearing, or there aren't as many born nowadays. So I think the fact that you are open to more collaboration from other people is actually very remarkable, especially when you're looking at it from the angle of I'm trying to make this the best record I can, and the best it can be is if I have more than one opinion on this. And I think it's really cool, honestly.
Yeah, thanks. And I mean, like, I brought them in with the kind of like, you know, I was like, we started out learning the stuff that was mine, and it's like, that's how we can kind of all get on the same page as opposed to like, oh, I'm trying to start a band, like, I'll hit up 5 people who play. I mean, that can be awesome too, I'm sure. Yeah. But like, I feel like I had a good foundation laid out for everyone to come in, and kind of like, they get to understand like the aesthetic of everything that's happening, and we can kind of build off of it. It doesn't feel random. It's still like my songs, basically, like same kind of mood and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's more of a collaboration element there than there was originally on like No Funeral or your debut Pearlity. Is that how it's pronounced? Pearlity, yeah. Pearlity, yes. Yeah. So morphing into a more collaborative area, you were talking about the pros to it, but there's definitely got to be some cons when working in a collaborative environment like that. Yeah, I mean, one con for myself that I've noticed is like, when I started to work on a song when I was strictly on my own, I would sit down and just like, if I had the day free, I would just like sit down and make the whole song pretty much like in a day, in like one period of time, and I would just be totally locked in. But now I'm like, oh, you know, I'll just get Tino to send me the drum track. Like, I'll just wait and have Alex play the bass, and like so and so forth. So it's like, I mean, if that's really what I want to do, I definitely can do that. Which I'm doing with my Christmas songs, like we were talking about
the Christmas album, the Knifeplay Christmas album.
Yeah, but and that's not necessarily all bad, because now it's like I've been working harder on just like I guess like the form and the craft of like songwriting and like the lyrics and stuff. Like, not that I didn't work hard on that before, but now it's like, okay, the drummer's the drummer, the bass the bassist. Like, I'm like the songwriter. Like, so I feel like we all kind of have our roles to fill. Another con for that would just be having to organize people and get people to like, because we all have to work full time, and it's just tough sometimes to get everything working, everyone firing together.
Oh yeah, scheduling alone is probably just like an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean we had 6 for a little while too, and that was really difficult. But now we're down to 5 again.
Okay. So do you think this is a very strong unit going into your new album that you're working on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're finishing up the record that we've all done together, and I could definitely see us doing another one together. I mean, I have plenty of song ideas ready to go as soon as we're ready to start working on them. Like, these are the best guys I've ever played with.
Oh, that's great. You love to hear that stuff.
And, they show up ready to go, and they seem to be inspired by it. And they're cool with kind of following my leads on certain things. And same for them. Like, we all bounce ideas around when we're writing a song. So and on top of that, like, at least 2 of the members, I mean, everyone's my very close friend in the band, but 2 of them I go back, nearly 10 years at this point. And,
that's cool.
And the other 2 I've known since they've joined the band like 3 years 3 years ago. So, they're all really good people, and I hope that we can keep making it work for a long time.
Well, let's hope so, because you do have a new record coming out soon, like you said. The 2 singles that you have released are Hurt Someone and Ornament. Now, for someone who has new popping in and they listen to your older stuff as compared to the new stuff, what do you think is the biggest difference that you can say between the stuff that's going to come out and stuff off of Pearlty?
Well, the biggest difference... So for Pearlty, I recorded it all at home, and then it was, well, except for the drums. The drums were recorded by Cameron Connor, and he also mixed the record with me at his side, which he actually went on to work on the new Halo game that's about to come out.
Oh, wow.
So he's great at what he does, and I'm really happy with how that record came out, but... the EP we just did and the album that we're about to do, I did with a guy by the name of Jeff Ziegler. He's a little bit of an older guy in the Philly scene, and he's worked with Kurt Vile, The War on Drugs, and Nothing. Those are like his most, I guess, notable records. He's done hundreds probably of records, but as great as Cameron was, Jeff just has great gear and decades of experience. And, with Cameron, we busted that record out in like a month or 2. But Jeff, I've been working with him the better part of this entire year. Wow. So it's been like we've had more time to get all the details right. And his experience has been like amazing to just get the record to the level that it is. So that's one huge difference, and I guess just like the sound quality, if anyone cares about that besides us. But and then like all the players too. Like Pearlty had a lot of people playing, but this has really been like everyone in the band is doing their thing and what they're best at. And we also brought in string players for the record, and a couple other surprises throughout.
Ooh, some surprises.
Yeah, we I think it's gonna be a little challenging at times, but it'll be. I'm really excited about it. I think the quality of the songwriting is on par with the old stuff, hopefully better. And in my mind, every other aspect of it has just improved. But there will be like, similar ideas, being put across and whatnot, musically and like writing wise. But I feel like we've taken all of our ideas and just pushed them to like the limit at this point.
So for your older stuff like Pearlty, No Funeral, the B-sides, all that stuff, that was released independently, yeah?
Yes.
So I think a big difference personally is the fact that you were signed for these 2 new songs, and I presume the record that's coming out, right? Born Loser Records?
So our deal with them is for the EP right now. So technically our LP does not have a home at the moment. But yeah, that's a big difference too. I should have name dropped them sooner, probably. But no, they've been awesome to us too, because that was like the best rollout we've ever had in terms of like people caring about it like the day it comes out, you know, because like this record, it's still growing. My first record, fortunately, 3 years later, but it wasn't like that when it came out, you know. It was like a couple people here and there share it or whatever. So I think the label probably helped us get our name out there a lot, and it's run by 2 guys. One of them is a good friend of mine. He's a really good guy. So they've been taking care of us pretty well. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best in that whole, I guess, business end of things.
Considering that Knifeplay, you know, isn't really just you, even though it is kind of, you're the main figurehead, is it more difficult with like a band behind you when you're choosing to sign for a label? Was this a difficult decision going with Born Loser?
No, not at all, because like, well, how do you feel like it would be?
Well, just if everyone combined, because I know a lot of people, some have this idea of, if you sign to a label, you're a sellout or something, or if someone's like, yeah, I'm totally down with going with a label. Was there any, you know, like conflict between anyone in that sense?
Well, so this is where, you know, this will kind of almost help answer your question of like, why is it just me here? It's like, those guys, they trust my instincts on these things. Like, I kind of make those types of decisions. And like, I talk about it with the guys, especially Stackhouse, because he's like the oldest member that we've had. He's kind of like the co-pilot of like these types of calls. But like, we're all on the same page about what we want out of the project, and like, I think they're not there for that type of thing. They're there because we're all friends and we're playing music, and like, you know, I'm gonna sign to whatever, you know, I'm gonna do that stuff, and they know me, and we're all in good faith with each other too, where I don't necessarily have to like consult them about everything.
Yeah,
like
that's understandable.
That, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I found really captivating by your stuff personally is your artwork. I love the artwork for like the singles, the albums. Where did the idea come from for like the photography used and the like black border used? I just think it's like a very striking and almost like intense visual. I just find it very like visually intriguing personally.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you saying that. So everything we have out except for No Funeral, those were photos that I took. And I mean, I don't, if you're talking about the release that just came out, specifically, I could just go into that for a second. So yeah, I take a lot of photos. I'm not like a serious photographer or anything, but I just have a camera around a lot. And that particular photo was from, I think, Baltimore in around, I'm not sure if this is the right year, but I want to say 2015. There was some like riots going on down there. I want to say it was Freddie Gray. He was killed by police. So, you know, I was super young, and like I had never, it almost seems like now these kind of stories are like common or whatever, but but back then, yeah, that was like the first time something like that happened in my lifetime that I knew about anyway. And so a friend of mine and I drove down there to, I guess, experience things that were going on naively and stupidly for a number of reasons maybe. But basically we were following around the police scanner, and we came across a house fire, which is what you see in the image. And yeah, I just snapped a picture of it. It was a really intense moment. There was like a family, coming out of the house and, very upset about what was happening. So I had the photo, and I thought the colors came out nice, and thematically it kind of is like consistent with, I mean, if you don't know the story, then you're not going to project that onto it.
Yeah.
But it I took the photo, I was in that moment, and for me, like, it's almost like an extension of the writing, because it feels so real to me, because obviously I was there in that moment and stuff. As far as like, and I could say that for each of, I guess there's 3 other album covers that all kind of have like moments behind them that I feel like either directly or abstractly relate to like what is being talked about, or even just like the mood of the photo.
If that's the case, I'd really like to know the story behind the Pearlity, because that's personally my favorite release from you guys, and I think the album cover just is so bizarre. The colors are so cool, and it's just so intriguing. Like when I saw it, I was like, okay, I gotta know what this sounds like now.
Thanks. Yeah. So that's my close friend Steve on the cover, and we had a joint birthday party because our birthdays are a day apart. I think this was 2015 again. I guess I was taking, maybe the other one was 2016 then. I'm not sure on the years of everything, but he basically passed out on the roof before the party really even got started. And that was like out my bedroom window where I was taking the photo from.
Oh.
So, and that photo, even though it does look nice, and it's like the kind of shape of it came out really well, but like also just I feel like that what someone might see when they look at that or think about, who doesn't know the situation at all, if I'm right about what they might think about it, I think that there's a really strong connection with like everything that's going on in the record, with that photo. So, and also on top of that, it's like I was writing all that stuff around that time, and like for me, the record is just this like really nice package of like my life at that time and like the things I was seeing and experiencing. So
I'm curious, since you obviously seem to be very passionate about the photography and the art associated with your music, I think I could get a strong guess, but I would like to hear your perspective on this. Do you feel that the album cover is important? Because I know some people have different sides on this. Some people say, oh, the album cover is just kind of just eye candy. It's just kind of there. But others think that it's very important and impactful in your music. I think I kind of know which way you lean toward, but I'd like to hear from the horse's mouth how you feel about the whole debate on that topic.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it like you know, an album cover should be appropriate for, and you know, it should complement like what's going on, and like a song, whether it be a single or an EP or a record, it is a work of art at the end of the day, and there's no reason to not put just as much thought into it as you would into a song itself or anything like that. I mean, I'm almost in this position where it's getting difficult for me too, though, because I haven't taken as many photos over the past few years, and I'm sort of running out of ones that I want to use. But I mean, it's really important to me, and like you said, the album cover caught your eye to check it out. So it's like that's one reason it's important in this day and age, and also because it just adds to the enjoyment of the record if it has a nice album cover. I mean, like when everyone's listening on an app and stuff, it's a little different, I guess, than it was when people were listening on albums, physical records. But I can't imagine it not being considered important in my mind. And I think like all of my favorite artists have great album covers, or at least like album covers that are thoughtful or like make you think in some way, even if they like look shitty on a surface level. It's like they should make you think in some way. It can't be lazy, just like songwriting can't be lazy, or like production can't be lazy, you know.
It's part of the holistic unit. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, yeah, obviously I like the album covers. That's how I found you guys, because I just saw cool art and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And now look at us now. Yeah,
and I'm glad that you appreciate it, because I often wonder how much people think about that. Or
I feel like there's a huge portion of people that's way more of a factor than a lot of people would think, and I like that that's still a thing.
Yeah, for sure. And like, for me, like, which actually my next album cover might be a found photo, not one of my own, but like just being able to use like original content is kind of nice. Like it makes it feel like a nice wrapped up thing for me.
I was gonna say, the next big question is, do you have an album cover for the album coming out?
Well, I got something that I am strongly considering, but I'm not calling it 100% yes yet.
No concrete plans. Okay, I respect it. But we can expect this to be an absolute banger, yeah?
I hope so.
Oh, I don't have any doubt with you, boss man.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem. So, with the new music coming out, can you give any little hints or tidbits, droplings here about the new music?
Well, I already talked about working with Jeff, which was huge. I will say it has the potential to challenge people's attention spans. And maybe that's my only hint.
Okay. All right, that's an interesting little breadcrumb that I wasn't expecting.
It's different than anything we've done by a fair amount, I think. But still similar, so.
I love challenging music, especially when it's from stuff that has its roots in something so accessible, which is kind of why I really enjoy your stuff, because you do kind of have like the base rock like foundation built upon, but then what you build up is just so like weird and different. And if this is becoming even more challenging, hey man, I'm all for it personally.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Like the EP we just put out, actually, originally that song Ornament came later, but Hurt Someone was like in the mix of like what was going to be the record. But I put it out on its own because it didn't feel like it fit, for the reason that it's so like much more poppy than a lot of the stuff that we're getting ready to put out. Like it didn't feel as like, I don't know, serious or something as the record. It's like, yeah, it felt it needed to be separate, and I think what that says about the record is that the songs they're not gonna be like, I shouldn't say too much. I'm done.
You don't want to spoil too much before it comes out. I see.
I don't want to spoil too much, but I mean, we're all really psyched about it, and I think like anyone who already enjoys our music is gonna like it. I hope so.
Oh, I don't doubt. So this is a big release for you guys. Is there going to be any other singles released, or was the Hurt Someone just the last thing before you're cracking down and finally getting in album mode?
Well, yeah, that's like an EP on its own, even though it does function as like a single. But I'm sure like once we have a concrete plan for the record, like, I don't know, whoever we might sign with, or if we sign with anyone or whatever, etc. Like there will be probably, 2 to 3 singles that come out preceding it, I would say, but I wouldn't expect that anytime soon. I think it takes a long time to release a record nowadays, I'm told, so.
Yeah, man, you can't rush perfection.
I mean, even if I signed tomorrow, it could potentially take 6 to 8 months to even be released. So.
Yeah, true. But I'm just glad that you have some concrete plans about that there is an album coming out in the future, because I know a lot of people, they'll have an album and they'll just be like, well, maybe I'll make more at some point or whatever. I'm glad that you have like a concrete, like, yes, this is happening and I'm working on it very diligently.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I'm going in tomorrow, and we're going to do, like, I think I have 2 notes for mixing, and then we're going to start running everything through Tape Machine. And once it's through the Tape Machine, it's done.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think I got maybe 3 more sessions. It'll be done before Christmas, that's for sure. But for being released, who knows? Yeah,
sometime in the possibly not so distant future.
Yep.
So, for anyone that is not very familiar with your music, if this is, let's put it in the shoes of someone who's just finding this and listening to you, and they think, ooh, I'm intrigued by this band, what is a song that you would give them as, say, if you want a starting point, listen to this, just a single song, what would you give them?
Well, I mean, I guess I would say listen to the EP. A single song,
one. That's why it's so difficult.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's so tough for us because I feel like our songs have so much difference between them. But I feel like our biggest song, Tears, is probably, as of what we have out, only what we have released. I think that definitely, it's a song people seem to like, for one, so I think that person who never heard us before would probably listen more. And also I think that it touches on a lot of what we're trying to do overall. Like, I think Hurt Someone is more of a one-off thing. It's kind of like a grunge song, it's just very like instantaneous, which is not really what we do a lot. So I don't know if that would be like, even though we just put that out, and probably a lot of people, that's all they've heard, and then they hear everything else, and they might not like it or something. But yeah, I think Tears would be a good one, or Ornament. That'd be funny because Ornament's so different and it's so abrasive and everything, so it'd be almost like a test. Like, if you like that one,
if you like this, you'll love the rest of this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, well, it'd be like, if you're allowed to listen to everything else if you like that one.
Yeah, you may pass. You can listen to the rest of our discography. That's a good way of looking at it. I think that's funny. So, TJ, let's best case scenario, where do you see Knifeplay in 5 years?
Best case scenario, touring a lot, and I don't have to work that much, maybe a couple days a week just to supplement my income. And I mean, as far as when I started this project, I feel like I've already reached best case scenario. I mean, there's like a lot of people out there who connect with the music in like what seems like a meaningful way, and like I've gotten to play with some artists I really admire and like have respect for people who I really admire. And I mean, I feel like I've already been able to experience so much that I didn't expect, but I would hope to, I have a vision for what, everything could look like proportionate to what it was. So it's like, hopefully that I just accomplished like whatever shit, and now maybe in 5 years, the similar like higher things I'd like to do will happen too, which is, just play better places, play for more people, and have more people enjoying everything, and just keep the unit together. And just, I mean, as far as making the music, I'm looking to like advance my craft more too, just get better and better, and like keep enjoying what I'm doing.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. TJ, thank you for stopping by the Big Fish Podcast. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me, Jake.
Yeah, no problem. Where can people find you on this great wide web?
Google, search Knifeplay band. Make sure you say
that's such
band.
A flex. That's such a early 2000s rapper flex. Like, Google me.
No, but we're all over everything, man. Bandcamp, Spotify, anywhere you listen to music, we're on there. So. Oh yeah,
the links to everything will be in the description. So if you guys were at all curious by listening to this podcast, their music is on major services along with Bandcamp with some merch, but I believe the merch is mostly sold out, right?
It's all sold out.
It's all sold out. Sorry. You can still listen to the music though and contribute on Bandcamp or major services. TJ, do you have any final leaving remarks before we wrap up this podcast?
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that anyone who finds us through this will enjoy it.
Excellent. Those are some very good last words. Some cool ones in there. I like it.
Thanks.
And for you, the listener, thank you, because you're the one that keeps this going. You're the one that I came back for. It was a bit of a hiatus, but hey, man, we're coming back. I never had a set release plan. We're just kind of going it off here now. So if you want to listen to this on YouTube, it's available on YouTube. If you want to listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it's available there. It's available wherever you want. You can listen to it on a boat, on a plane, on a train, wherever you want. But remember, as long as you check out Knifeplay on Bandcamp, Spotify, and Apple Music and give them a follow on Instagram, then you're all set to go. So thank you for listening to the big return of the Big Fish Podcast. I appreciate it, and have a pleasant day.